Hello and welcome to another episode of Prague's Tour Guide. My name is Patrick, and in today's video we'll focus on the Church of Our Lady Victorious and the Infant Jesus of Prague, little statue of Jesus that's inside. The Infant Jesus of Prague is a little statue carved out of a piece of wood by a farmer in 16th century Spain. And he painted it and covered it in wax. And almost immediately miracles start to happen around it. So people start to believe that the little statue has miraculous healing powers. Later, it got into possession of a Spanish noblewoman, Marie Manrique de Lara y Mendoza. And this Spanish noblewoman later got married to a Czech nobleman, Vratislav of Penstein. So that's how the statue got with the noble lady to Prague. So originally it was in the Lobkowicz Palace in the Prague Castle, which used to be called Penstein Palace. Later, Marie Manrique, she gave it to her daughter Polixena for her wedding. And Polixena was getting married to Zdeněk of Lobkowicz. And when Zdeněk of Lobkowicz died in 1628, Polixena gave it to the Carmelite order, to this church. So since 1628, it's been inside of this church. However, it's famous in Spain and all the former Spanish colonies, so all over South and Central America, also in Philippines, and also in other Catholic countries like Italy or Poland. So actually 1 million pilgrims, 1 million Catholics come here every year to see the statue. This church was originally called the Church of the Holy Trinity. It was built in the early 1600s and it was a Lutheran Protestant church. However, in 1620, in November, 8th of November 1620, there was a Battle of the White Mountain. White Mountain is located now, it's located in Western Prague, but originally it was right outside of Prague. It was a very important battle of the 30 Years' War between the Czech Protestants and the Austrian Catholics. And the Austrians, they crushed the Czech Protestants, and after that everybody was forced to be Catholic. It was the absolute victory of Catholicism in this country. So after that battle in 1622, they renamed this church Church of Our Lady Victorious to commemorate the battle. And also they actually switched up the entrance. Originally, the Protestants, they entered from the west, which is common. You know, when you enter a church, you usually enter from the western side, and the altar is on the eastern side, facing Jerusalem. But here they switched it up because the Catholics didn't want to enter the same way like the Protestants did. So we're entering here from the east. So let's go inside. So this church is still active. They actually have services not only on Sunday, but also on other days and in many different languages like English, Italian, Spanish. So you can check it out over here. Now, this church is part of a Carmelite monastery. So the Carmelites, they're taking care of it. And here, this painting shows us Saint Teresa of Avila. She's one of the founders of the Carmelite order and reformer of the order. And the statue here is called Ecstasy of Saint Teresa of Avila. Yeah, another painting that we have is Saint John of the Cross. And then we have a very interesting painting down here. It's a painting of Virgin Mary, Madonna of Mantova. Mantova it's a town in northern Italy. And this painting used to hang on a tree on the way to Mantova. And there is a legend connected to it. You know, there was a soldier riding on a horse, and he made a shooting target, like practicing target out of the painting. So he shot at the painting. The bullet struck where the star is on the painting. However, the bullet ricocheted and struck down the soldier. And allegedly blood started to pour out of the painting where the bullet hit. So this painting became very famous. So it's original painting of Madonna of Mantova. Yeah, another painting that we can see here is that of Saint Simon. And notice also there is a Maltese Cross down here. It's a symbol of the monastery, of the Knights of Malta. The reason why it's here is because the Carmelites, they ran this church until 1780s. Then it was shut down by Joseph II, Austrian emperor. You know, he shut down more than 600 monasteries in our country because he considered them useless. And this one was also shut down, and it was taken over, the church was taken over by the Knights of Malta, who have a monastery nearby. Later, after fall of communism, it was given back to the Carmelites. Yeah, here behind me there's the entrance to the sacristy, and for those who wish, you know, they can go in, and at certain times you can get a blessing from one of the monks here. Yeah, guys, here we have the main altar, and behind the altar there's an interesting painting which shows the Battle of the White Mountain that happened in 1620. And you can see Virgin Mary hovering above the battlefield, leading the Catholics to victory. On the bottom left, on his knees, is Ferdinand II, Habsburg. He was the Austrian emperor. And on the bottom right, there's a Carmelitan monk called Dominic a Jesu Maria. Now, this Carmelitan monk, he was traveling with the Catholic army, and as they were passing through Strakonice, he found a little painting of Virgin Mary and was destroyed. You know, the eyes were cut out, probably by the Protestants. He found it at the local castle of the Knights of Malta. So he took the painting with him, and he had the painting also before the battle started. Now, the battle happened outside of Prague at the location called the White Mountain. It's an actual hill. Now, the Protestants were on top of the hill, so they had an advantageous position. And the Catholics were hesitant whether they should attack or not. And this monk, with the painting, he went to the general's tent and he convinced them, like, now is the right time to attack. And it was a smooth victory. The battle was over in less than 2 hours. So after the battle, not only they dedicated this church to the victory, but also they put that painting, the painting is actually on top among the weapons up there. Now, that painting here is just a copy because the original was given to the Pope, and they decided to build another church in Rome called Santa Maria della Vittoria, and in that church they have the original painting from Strakonice that the monk carried. Yeah, here we have a painting of dying Saint Joseph. By the way, there are 3 paintings here. This one, the one of Saint Simon, and also of Saint Joachim. And those 3 paintings were painted by Petr Brandl, who's the most famous Czech Baroque painter. And here also you can see Brazilian Madonna. It's a little black statue of Madonna. And here finally we have the main altar of with Infant Jesus of Prague. So there's that little statue that you find in the showcase. Now you see there are clothes on it. You know, they start to put clothes on the statue, and the little statue has over 300 different clothes. They change them according to liturgical seasons and different holidays. For example, right now the red color, that's for martyrs holidays. Then, for example, white is for Easter and for Christmas. Then we have green for ordinary days. And then we have purple for fasting and Advent. Only on Christmas, on the 24th of December, the statue has no clothes on, because that's when Jesus was born, so he came into the world naked. Now notice the symbolism of the altar. So Jesus was both human and God, so we have Virgin Mary and Joseph on the sides, and then God and Holy Spirit. So Jesus is in the middle of the cross. I also noticed the plaques on the sides saying thank you in different languages. So those are people who got healed or whose wish came true. So anyone can come and pay to have a plaque on the wall here. Now, if you want to see some of the most interesting pieces of clothes that they put on the infant Jesus, they actually have a museum of them upstairs in the tower. So let's go up. You know, the most precious clothes that they have here is this one that was made by Maria Theresa. She weaved it personally in 1754. So she was a big fan of the infant Jesus, the Austrian empress. Yeah, then we have gifts from different countries. For example, these are from Philippines. Then we have clothes from Korea, from Mexico, from Vietnam, Colombia, or from wealthy families from all over the world. So here we have the final painting to show you. That's a painting of Saint Joachim and Anna. They were parents of Virgin Mary, and they're praying to God for her to be blessed with a child. So this is the end of our short tour of the Church of Our Lady Victorious. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you'd like to book a tour in person, either with me or one of my colleagues, feel free to check out our website, lucidtours.com. Also, we'd be happy if you subscribe to our channel. You can hit the like button if you like the video, and we'll see you on our next tour. So take care.